Hey guys, Thomas Sicily Jr. here, aka Mustache Tom, here to review 007 Spectre. So, before officially reviewing this movie, I just want to say that I've seen the first two re-edited versions of 007. I didn't find them to be particularly all that good, and then I decided to completely skip Nightfall because of that, and then I was like, I'll give Spectre a chance. And after watching it, I kind of was like, eh. So this movie was kind of on the long side. So I'll definitely talk about this first, where there are quite a few scenes here and there that definitely dragged on or were completely unnecessary. One of them being this whole thing with Dave Bautista being in the movie, and he just sort of plays this silent big guy villain thing, and he goes in the train, and then they fight for like a really long time. But the fighting scene isn't all that particularly entertaining. It's just sort of them going back and forth, and then he gets them. And this movie definitely suffers through few other scenes that could have either been really shortened or just like there's this whole car chase and it takes like so much time to get through, and I'm just like, oh, come on, get it over with already. But so the movie does suffer through that, but the beginning was pretty strong, and then it kind of downslopes for a while, and then we find out that James is supposed to protect this woman whose father is like this spy guy, and then he kills himself for some reason, and then he's tasked with protecting herself, but then she says she can protect herself. Um, and then somewhere in the movie, he finds the Spectre group, and then he runs off or whatever. But he's like protecting her and stuff, and they go to different areas, finding clues, getting the gadgets or gadget, I should say. Um, and then later on in the movie they end up finding the main Spectre group, and then they're just talking, not he's like nonchalant talking to the one of the villains of the movie, and then they're going back and forth and stuff about who's gonna kill who or whatever, and then yeah, um I mean, that part of the movie was sort of where it started to get interesting again. But then, like, the main villain or whatever kind of came, and then they captured James, and then that's where the movie really got interesting. Like, that's when it got interesting again, I should say. But there was a lot to go through to get to that point, and then like he gets out with the time watch thing that he got, and the girl set that up, so she threw it, and then the whole place blew up. Um, and then he says it's not over because there's this whole subplot about the whole 007 or the 00 group thing that's being taken down because one of the guys worked for Spectre, I think. And then they end up going back to the base, and then um, he ends up having to either save the girl or the woman, and then get out before the building blows up because the guy rigged it to blow up, and then he has a few minutes to get there. He gets there, he saves her, and then they end up just arresting the guy. And that's about it. I mean, from what I can remember, this movie is pretty long, so there are quite a few other things I'm pretty sure I missed out on. But like I said, I feel like this these versions of the 007 movies that have been coming out haven't been particularly strong for me. And again, it just really is visible here because it just takes kind of way too long to get to the main point of the story. I think this movie would have been a lot stronger if we properly introduced the main villain way earlier and had him do a lot more in response to James Bond. I think that's what probably would have saved that movie, because the main villain of this movie is the guy who pretty much stole the entire movie. I mean, this guy's performance was really good. Uh, the capture scene was really strong, and it was probably the most suspenseful part of the entire movie, and it kind of like getting there kind of feels like there's like no payoff to actually getting there. It just sort of happens, and you're like, oh well, it's a strong point of the movie, but the rest of the movie doesn't really feel like it deserves to be that good. And I know it sounds really strange to say, but I'm gonna score this movie a 5 out of 10. I feel like this movie tried to pay homage to the original series, and I think what that kind of did was make some of the scenes a bit too lengthy. Um, and I don't know if that's what they were going for, but I don't think it really paid off in the end. And if there is going to be another 007 movie, I don't know if I want to skip it, because I mean, this movie didn't do too good for me, and the first two didn't do too good for me, and I didn't even see Skyfall, and I don't even know if I want to. I mean, I heard it was good, but I don't know. So that's my review for this movie. 5 out of 10. It's a half and half for me. So this has been Thomas Cecilio Jr., aka Mustache Tom, and I'll see you guys next time.